5 stars. Corrupt society. It's pretty thin. This book, I believe, was also written in the pandemic. Hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Isabel if you're new here, and today I'm going to be reviewing all the books that I read in June. Let's get started. Okay, so the first book that I ended up reading in June, I really read it in May, but it was the only book that I read in May, so I figured I'd just squish it into June. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabriel Zevin. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because I absolutely loved it. I just feel like there wasn't a part in this book where I wanted to put it down, where I felt like it was boring, where I felt like it was like a filler chapter. It's about a group of friends, a trio of friends who work together to make the best video games possible. The book goes from when Marks, Sadie, Sam and Sadie being the creators, the coders of the game, and Marks being their manager. It goes from when they are literally 10 years old all the way to when they're 40, mid-40s, about to hit 50. It goes about their adventure and the people that they meet and fame, love, and friendship. And there are some parts in this book where I feel like when they are trying to figure out who they are as a person, and there's a part where even Sam asks himself, me and Sadie, we're best friends, we get along so well, but why aren't we together? I think it's a very important part to mention about this book because even though it is about gaming and about these 3 friends, it goes into just self-discovery. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I'm so glad that I got the hardcover of it because I am going to keep this book. I'm not going to turn it in. I'm not going to, what I mean by turn it in is like I'm not going to take it to my little library. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabriel Zevin. Now, the first book that I read in June was Redrising by Pierce Brown, and it's the first book in the Redrising series. There's like 5 books now, and I just finished the first one. So Redrising is basically the Hunger Games but in space. There is a more intense, detailed hierarchy. There are golds, browns, pinks, all these levels within this corrupt society that makes the protagonist, Daryl, want to take it down. So the whole plot is the fact that Daryl turns from a red to a gold, which is the highest color that you can be. It's the strongest. They kill his wife and he basically gets kidnapped by this organization that is already planning to take down this whole system, turn him from a red to a gold. And then he starts off by going to this institute, and then he makes some friends, he makes some enemies, and then some friends turn into enemies. It ends off where he's done at the institution to prove himself, where he needs to prove himself, and he graduates to be part of a house. But yeah, that's how this book ends, and I'm reading Golden Sun now, and it's getting really good. I gave Redrising a 4 out of 5 stars. Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion. So it just looks like this. It's pretty thin. It's like 200 pages. Play It As It Lays takes place in the 60s. It follows an actress who is being exploited by her manager. It also takes place in Hollywood, so we get a lot of scenery, like descriptions of like Hollywood, so like the billboard, the magazines, the fashion, the weather. And you also get how women were treated in the 60s. Domestic violence was very normal. The protagonist, she is being put in situations where she doesn't want to take upon a role. She's just not comfortable, but her manager, you know, pushing her boundaries and not really caring, you know, he's just there to make money off of her. He treats her poorly, and he's like, well, if you want to, you know, stay relevant, then you're gonna have to take upon this role, you're gonna have to do this. And she just didn't care enough to fend for herself. The dialogue between her and her husband, very toxic, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? And this book I actually ended up taking to the little library in my neighborhood. It was one of those books that I wasn't going to read a second time. Like, I feel like it was just a good one and done. It follows these couples, these 2 couples that are writing letters to each other. So the 2 women in these 2 couples, they're writing letters to each other, and they're basically talking about the existential crisis that they're going through. This book, I believe, was also written in the pandemic. Sally Rooney really paints the picture of these 2 characters, of their ideas being challenged by their lovers. One of the girls that's in a relationship, she is in a relationship with a religious man, and the other one, Alice, who is a writer, is in a relationship with a guy named Felix. The girl who is in a relationship with a religious man, she talks to Alice and she's like, you know, I'm not really a religious person. I don't like how religion can be toxic and how it can make people feel not worthy. And then Alice, who is this famous writer, Felix challenges her. I don't know if I would say like he challenges her morals or her ideas. He challenges her in a way where she finds it interesting. A lot of people like her work, but the way that it seems is that not a lot of people like her for her own personality. I gave that book a solid 3 out of 5 stars. And with that being said, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Those are all the books that I read in June. I will see you on some other part of the internet or in another video. Bye.